Okay, we'd like to welcome Mike Weir into the interview room here at the Black Desert Championship. Mike, being a resident of Utah and also a Brigham Young University standout, just talk a little bit about what it means to be here in Utah for this event.
Lots of great emotions. In fact, you mentioned BYU. I played with a couple young guys, Zach Jones, who's a senior there yesterday, and Akina. I pronounced his first name, but we had a great time yesterday. You know, he's going to be a freshman there, great talent there. I was recruited to go to BYU back in 1988 and just stayed, made it my home. So to have a PGA Tour back here in Utah is super special. Can't wait to get started tomorrow.
Yeah, Zach Blair and Patrick Fishburne were in yesterday, and they were just talking about what you mean to the state of Utah and to the school. How does that make you feel when people look up to you around here in terms of what you've meant to the game of golf?
Yeah, it's great to hear that. I mean, I think when I came here, you know, I was looking up to Johnny Miller and Mike Reed and players like that. You know, Richard Zokol and Jim Nelper, a couple Canadian guys that also came before me to BYU, and hopefully those guys have learned some things from me, and they're passing it on to the next generation, and there's a great pipeline at BYU for sure. And
speaking of a veteran from Utah, Jadon Blake's making his 500th start here this week. He's coming in a little while for a press conference. Any stories that you have of Jadon or when you first met him?
Yeah, I met Jadon when I first got on the tour back in '98, I believe was my first year on tour, and you know, we had the Utah connection, and you know, he's always been great. What a gentleman, great player for a long time, and you know, I saw actually on Instagram, PGA Tour's Instagram, the emotional response he got when he was invited for his 500 start. I thought that was really cool.
And now that the President's Cup is over, you can sort of get back into the grind of your golf game.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the state of your game coming into the week.
Yeah, my game feels good. My game all year has been solid. I played quite well, and now I got a nice stretch here for the next 5 weeks playing here on the PGA Tour, and then 3 more on the Champions Tour. So, yeah, my game feels good. It's a golf course that I feel like I can really play well on. You have to manage yourself around the greens, and you know, I feel like I'm in good shape this week.
All right, we'll get started with questions. If you'll raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. Yep, we'll start right here.
Thank you. Mike, last week in Canada, where you are legend, and now in Utah, where again you are legend and connected in both places. Back to back, a part of your heritage. What does that mean to you? What's it like for you, I guess emotionally, to be doing these things?
Yeah, it's a special, you know, this last month or so has been just a special time of golf for me. You know, last week or 2 weeks ago at the President's Cup was something that was in the works for a long time. I put a lot of energy into that for a couple of years, and you know, although we didn't get over the line and win the event, it was still such a special week. I mean, just the response of all the fans to our team, our players, having 3 Canadians on the team was really special. Having a lot of family there it was just an incredible week for me. And then, you know, here we are 2 weeks later playing at home in a PGA Tour event in my home state. It's pretty cool. So I'm trying to soak it up. I tried to enjoy the President's Cup as stressful and demanding as it is. I tried to enjoy the golf as well when I was out there watching, you know, really high quality golf there. And, you know, at this stage of my life, you know, I'm still super competitive, but there's a lot of guys I'm rooting for out here too, and I love to watch them as a fan of golf and watch the evolution of the game. Like I was telling John, that younger generation that I had a chance to play with yesterday, and then to see some of the veteran guys that I know still playing, you know, it's really cool at this stage of life to still be kicking the golf ball around a little bit and trying hard at it.
All right, right here on the aisle.
Devin Dixon, Fan Sports Network here in St. George. Mike, what's been your assessment of the course? What's the feedback been from not just the 9 Utahns in the field that have Utah ties, but from everybody so far? How do they like the property?
Yeah, I think people are blown away by the property. Obviously, the scenery, I think, hits them first when they get down here. It's such a unique landscape. And then the golf course, you know, I had a chance to play it late spring. I played it once this summer. We were down here on a family a reunion type thing. We buzzed over and had a chance to play, and it's incredible how much better it's kind of gotten even in a short period of time. I mean, it's the ground staff here and superintendent, they've done an incredible job. It's like carpet out there, the fairways, the greens are great. It was playing really fast when I played it in the summer, so the ball was really chasing out. It's not doing that now. I was thinking that the course might play a little bit short, but it's not playing that way. You know, it's playing a little bit longer. Looks like we'll have some pretty good weather. If we get some wind, it'll play a little bit tougher, but there's some demanding holes out there, especially on the back nine. The fairways are quite generous, but if you miss, it's pretty much a penalty. So you'll see some low scores, but you'll see some guys struggle on some holes out there too.
All right, front left. Right here.
Mike, good morning. I'm curious more than anything. This might be just me talking here a little bit, but what was it like being the captain of the President's Cup team from your birth country, and then coming back here to do this all over again? How do you balance what you were doing out there?
Yeah, two different things, I guess. You know, when you're the captain of a team like that, it's you put yourself aside and your game aside, and you're focused on those 12 players, the other assistant captains, caddies, wives, everything, and our whole internal team. So it's a big thing that weighs on your mind all the time. You want the experience to be great for everybody, and it was a wonderful experience, except not winning. The main goal was trying to win, but at the same time, now that page is turned, now it's back to my game, and I can focus on my game, and I've been doing that. You know, kind of midweek last week, I took a few days rest, and then when I got home and started working on my game, and because it was in a good place before I went to Montreal. I was off, 10 or 12 days, and then I felt very good about my game before that, and it seems to have continued. My practice has been going well, and now I can just focus on trying to get in contention here.
All right, let's go to Jeff in the middle.
Mike, obviously you play on the PGA Tour Champions. Is there any urge you have to resist to come out here and try and not play your game to keep up with the younger guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there is that urge to, I'm still chasing a little bit of speed. Like, that's been part of my protocol for a while. And but I know my game now. I think maybe in some past tournaments in the past couple of years, I've tried to play outside of my game, and it's got me in a little bit of trouble. I think I'm going to get headspace that way to just play my game here this week, and it's something I've actually been trying to pay attention to, because if I do that, I think I'll be in good shape.
All right, back here, second row.
Hi, Mike. Looking at where you are and the arc of your career and all the amazing accomplishments, I think back to when you were a kid. You sent the letter to Nicholas about right-handed, left-handed stuff. Mm-hmm. What if he would have said golf's a right-handed game? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah. Who knows?
Go sliding doors with us here. What becomes of Mike Weir and his golf game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big if. I mean, I have no idea what that would happen. If I was a natural left-hander, and for those of you who don't know, I wrote Jack when I was a kid, and he said, no, stick with your natural swing, because there's, 1983 when I wrote that letter, there was Bob Charles, who had won the British Open, but Russ Cochran, I guess, was on tour, and a guy named Ernie Gonzalez, but they were kind of middle of the pack guys, good players, but the best players in the world were all right-handed, and I wrote Jack this letter, and he said, no, stick to your natural swing, so I did. If I switched to right-handed then, my dad was willing to do that, and but when I got the letter back from Jack, he said, okay, we're staying with it. So who knows? Probably not on tour, I wouldn't think.
All right.
Mike, just curious about, as you played a practice round, you played the course a couple times. Do you have a game plan? And if so, what can you tell us about how you're going to attack this course?
Yeah. I think for me, par fives are important, and getting as many wedges in my hands as I can. I think there's those couple of drivable holes, and that's to his question about there playing outside of my game. Maybe trying to reach those could be, because it's a stretch for me to get there on those holes, and if I try to push that, I don't know. But if I put a wedge in my hand 4 times on those holes, my odds are going to be pretty good to make some birdies. So if I can do that on the par fives, those short holes, when I get the wedge in my hands, and if I convert those and play the other holes smartly, and you sneak a birdie here and there, and then you can shoot 4, 5, 6 under. So that's my plan.
All right, time for a couple more. Anyone? All set? Okay, one more with Jeff.
Mike, I know you kind of briefly touched on it, but just talk about the overall beauty of this course, the uniqueness of this course, bent grass in the desert, not something we normally see.
Yes, I mean, it's such a unique landscape. I compare it to, the Big Island, Hawaii, where we started our Champions Tour in January. I've been going over there for 20 years and using early January as my prep time for the season. So it's got a lot of that similar feel, except the Red Rock, it's quite different. So yeah, and the grass is unbelievably consistent and solid for such a new course. Yeah, it's unique, and I think that's, asked earlier what I've heard from the other players. They're saying, well, what a unique place, what a beautiful place. The hiking, what a great place for families, young players on tour. I think word spreads fast out here on the tour, and I think the field's great this week, but it'll continue to get better as we go along here.
And then one unrelated follow-up, just talk about how great it is and the importance of the PGA Tour returning to Utah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it's such a big golfing state. People love their golf here. We get through the winter, and everybody's just like Canada. Everybody's excited to get through the winter and get playing golf again. You play anywhere around, especially here. It's tough to get tee time. It's so busy. Everybody wants to play here. Any course in the Salt Lake Valley, it's full. Everybody's playing golf. It's like the game is heading right now. It's on a great upward trend, and it is here. Everybody loves the game. So to have the PGA Tour back, to get the fans, to get to see some of the best players in the world, I think it's really exciting going forward.
All right, let's take the last one right here on the left.
Mike, there are only 3 par 5s on this course. How much of a premium is accuracy going to be off the tee, keeping the ball in the fairway, and are those par 5s reachable?
Yeah, the majority of the guys, 18's reachable for me. Trying to think the other ones. 9 not for me. So that's, if it was playing fast when I played in the summer, I could reach 9. But the way it's playing right now, so I'll play that as a 3-shot hole. So most of the field can reach the par 5s, and to your point, you have to be in the fairway to be able to attack those holes. But again, there's danger lurking on those other 2 par 5s. If you go over the back of 18 there to the left, you can get in a little bit of trouble, and the tee shot's a little bit demanding if you try to cut the corner and carry the bunker, which a lot of guys can do. But it's an exciting finish. You have a big par 4 on 16 with a tough green, a birdieable 3 with some danger around the greens, and then a scoreable hole to finish. So it could be set up for a really good finish down the stretch.
All right, Mike, we appreciate your time. Best of luck this week.
And Kenai. I messed up Kenai's name
right.
earlier. Yeah.
Appreciate the correction.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So, all right, thank you, Mike.
Thanks, everybody.